is really to share with you guys who we are, what we do, and why my husband and I have decided to jump in full time. And then why we have decided to like pack it up at home where I grew up, where everything I know is California, and move to the South. That is amazing, right? But then it's like bug infested. So for me, I'm just having to deal with certain things that I'm not used to. So yeah, and why we've done that, and what it means to someone who gets involved with us, and what it means to the clientele in this area, because really the impact that we make. So I'll share with you a little bit. The presentation is the perfect storm. I'll give you a little bit about my background. When I got into this industry, I was a school teacher. I was teaching high school math and science to 9th and 12th grade at Inglewood High School. If you've ever heard of Inglewood in rap songs, it's the same Inglewood. So that's where I taught at. And before that, for 3 years, I taught in Compton Middle School. So I taught in the inner city. And so that's what right? The time my guns early. Yeah, that's why you ring the bell. We just shoot two shots from next period, right? So I was going to grad school working on my master's degree because I thought maybe I'd be a professor. I was doing it to make more money, to be quite honest. That's why I was going to grad school. And at the time I was a single mom. My son was 3 years old. I had just become a single mom. And I was living check to check, check to check, check to check. And I was also like $60,000 in student loan debt because my senior year of school I became a mom, and so I pulled out debt to pay the car and to do this and do that and pay daycare and stuff. Not for school at all. It was the big stuff I needed. And then I was going to grad school, which was another $25,000, $30,000. And so I was looking for something. Every paycheck I got paid, I made about $2,800 a month after taxes as a school teacher, so $700 a week. After daycare, my car note, my apartment in the hood, because we lived in the hood, like literally, and just expenses, I was broke. Like literally, there was no money left to barely put groceries on the table. So my dad was the person I called every paycheck. We got paid once a month. So I called my dad every paycheck, like, Dad, I'm going to be short like $400. I need you to help me. When can you pay you? Next check. But the next check I was like, Dad, I'm short $400. I need your help. And so it's just always a ripple effect. And I just got tired of. This is what all my friends were doing because this is what they told us to do. It was like, you go to school, go to college, it's worth it because down the road you make lots of money. It was a bunch of BS. And so I finally woke up one day and I remember sitting at the top of my bed because I had rented out my master bedroom to my cousin and I was bunk bedding with my kid. So he was on the bottom of the bunk at 4 years old and I was at the top of the bunk, right? He was 3 at the top. And he thought it was a party every night. He was so like, Mommy, what are you doing up there? He's all excited. He wanted to be up there. He's like, you can sleep on top of me, right? And I remember like laying in bed, I'm so close to the ceiling, like right here, and going, God, like this really can't be my life. Like this cannot be my life. Like I'm so smart, I'm so educated, I'm a smart person, I'm a hustler, I'm charismatic. Like this is not my life. This is not the life I wanted for my kid. Are you kidding me? Right now I'm like pissed off having this conversation with God. And I said, please give me an opportunity. If you give it to me, I promise I'll take it. And like sometimes you ask for something, and right, I asked for him, and it took God 10 years to deliver. Like, come on, dude, like I would have flipped it easily, right? 10 years more, right? And so I go to my school the next day. It was like that week. It wasn't the next day, but it was that week. And we have an in-service for teachers. And the principal's like, you gotta go. I'm like, my kids are testing this week. I'm not going to the in-service. She's like, I'm not asking you to. I'm telling you, you gotta go. I'm like, I'm not going. And then I lied to her. I was like, okay, I'm leaving right now. I got someone to cover my class. So I hear a knock on the door about 20 minutes later. And I open the door and it's the principal. She's like, where's your son? I lied. She's like, I'm covering you. Get out of here. You gotta go to that in-service. So I was pissed. Go to the in-service and there's this guy talking. I never remember the way I'm talking to you guys. And he had like a 20-minute window. I had just started when I walked in. And he talked about a lot of the things I'm going to talk to you about today. And he passed out a little green card like this. And at the very bottom of it, it had more space. I put capital letters, please help me. I underlined it. Right? And what do you want? I wanted everything he talked about. Like, just give me everything, right? And he came to my house a few days later. His name was Kevin Moore. God bless his heart, because he changed my life. And he taught me a lot about money that night. And I realized I'm really smart. I grew up in this country. I speak 2 languages. And why don't I know these things? Why wasn't I taught this at a young age? Why am I learning all these lessons after making poor choices and trying to get myself out of it? Why didn't I learn them before so I could have made better choices? And so it just opened up my eyes to, like, who else doesn't know this? And I started looking at my parents and everyone in our family. I started going, nobody knows this, because if they did, he wouldn't be going through that. He wouldn't be going through that. They wouldn't be going through that. And it just, like, it was like almost like the blinders came off. And I said, how do you get paid doing this? what I gotta do? I gotta get another degree because I was degree hungry. And he's like, no, just take a test and I'll train you. I'll do all that. And that's how I got started in this industry. And 15 months later, I had made more money doing this part time than I had made teaching. And at that point, I was leaving my kid almost every day of the week with my mom, every single day. My dad was like, oh my God, when do you see him? Never. I never saw him for a little bit over a year. He was 3, going on 4. And he would cry because he didn't want me to drop him off. But I knew what I was doing and why I was doing it. And 15 months later, my mom was like, if you replace your income, why are you still working there? Like, pick one. And of course, I let go of the job and I went full time. And I've been full time since 2003. I went full time in the industry until 2009. And then in 2009, I got diagnosed with cancer. And so I had to take a time out. And so I let go of that entire business that I was in. It was a different company. And I decided to just focus on my health. And I spent that's when I met him about 9 months after I was cured. I met him and I spent the next 5 years finding myself. He'd come over at 3 in the afternoon, I was telling PJ, what are you doing today? I'm like, this is what I'm doing. He's like, oh my God, what happened to the ambitious woman? She's there, she'll wake up one of these days. Like, I was just waiting for God to move me, for God to say, this is where you belong. Okay, if you're not a believer, I get it, but that's what I was waiting for. And I would say, like, you can't compete with God, dude. When he tells me to move, I'll move. If you can't wait, like, that's your problem. And he'd be like, whatever, okay, we'll wait on God. He'd mock me a little bit. But one day I woke up and God's like, it's time for you to get back into what you're great at. And you need to go impact lives and change the world like you want to. And literally that was a conversation I heard when I woke up in the morning. And that afternoon I made a phone call and I was back in business. And then I drug him in and he told you his story. And eventually I won that battle. And now I have my husband full time and we're here. So I share that story with you because there's different people that come to our overviews. First, some of them are the ones that say, what is this? Never heard of it. Are you guys a scam? Okay? I get that all the time. I've been doing this too long to not hear that. I heard I had that on the phone today, right? Not a big deal. Then I have the other person who says, I understand the insurance industry a little bit. What makes you different and why would I want to sit down with you as a client or why would I want to sit down with you and take a look at your opportunity? Okay? And then the last one is I really have no interest. I'm just here because I want to know what else is out there, but maybe I can send you someone if I think you guys are legit. Okay? So that's really what I'm going to go over today. Babe, you're going to have to sit on that side. I meant to tell you. I kept thinking I had a clicker, but I don't. But that's really what I'm going to go over a little bit today. And then when we're done, I'll pass out a card. If you have 100% interest, awesome. If you don't, I'm okay with it. Okay, because we knew we would build the South, and we're here now. And the South is growing very, very quickly for us. We like it to grow quicker because it means we get to move on to other territories, right, Brandon? But I will share with you that right now between Houston, the office he just mentioned, which has Rodolfo and Ceci in it, the couple from El Salvador. By the way, they're under 30 years old. They'll make $1 million this year. This is their 8th year in business. In their 8th year speaking English is what I always tell her. This is your 8th year speaking English. She's like, I know, I'm so excited. Right? I love her to pieces. She's like this tall. They work so hard. So to see them go from where they were at to where they're at now, it's like total pride. Like my little brother and sister are very successful because I knew them before I got into the business again. And so from Houston all the way to Tallahassee, Florida, nothing. There's no office in between. That's called opportunity. Okay? In California, it's saturated. By the way, we have not one office in Los Angeles. So that tells you how, even though we're kind of a lot of offices in California, not a lot of offices. We don't have that many, considering LA has no office, and LA is like humongous. Okay. Florida has about 9 offices. A lot of opportunity in Florida, and Illinois is our next biggest state, and I mentioned Texas. Outside of that, the whole country is wide open. So I'll talk to you a little bit about who we are, and you guys will start to see why Craig and I packed it up and shipped over to where all the bugs are. Go ahead, baby. Awesome. So let me tell you what makes it different. I'll give you a little bit of history. Our company, my CEO and myself were at a company together back in 2005. Okay, and in 2005. We were part of this company that we absolutely loved because it was a grassroots movement too. It had been around for about 15 years. It was doing well. And what happened is moving forward, 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, it became less of a grassroots movement for like regular people, and it became more of a company that was very corporate, looking at finding big accounts. Okay? And I didn't get in the business because of that. I got in the business because they sat down with a single mom in the hood who was living check to check. I used to be a welfare mom, and they were willing to teach me money. I fell in love with that process. As someone actually didn't care what I was worth, they thought I was worth teaching this information to. Most companies in our industry don't want that. Most of them, they want to know what your income is, how much money you have saved, and what your circle looks like. You want to sit down with Edward Jones? You better have a network. You want to sit down with Smith Barney? You better have a network. You want to sit down with Charles Schwab? You better have a network. Okay? Because that's just how they work. That's their market. Just like Mercedes doesn't want to sit down with an 18-year-old. They want to sit down with a professional who makes at least 80, 90, 100 grand a year. Okay? Everybody has their market. I love the company I was at because they were willing to sit down with anybody who wanted the knowledge. Eventually, it didn't get that. It started to transition into the Charles Schwab type model. So I already knew I wanted to leave, but God pushed me out for cancer. It was like, you want to leave? I probably would have never left. Cancer forced me to leave. So it was kind of like, I really believe God just knew what he was doing, right? I do believe that. And so when we came here, our CEO left that company. I left by force, right? And he started PHP. And his whole mission was to save America. When I met him in 2005, he was talking about we need to save America through free enterprise, entrepreneurship, and teaching financial literacy. And that was the mission of our company. That was in 2009. In 2017, the mission hasn't changed. Our whole focus is bringing back entrepreneurship to this country. Entrepreneurs create jobs. You don't have entrepreneurs, you don't have jobs. Okay, government is the only one creating jobs. The challenge with that is it's not going to be enough, and they're totally in control. Entrepreneurs create jobs. And so our CEO, if you YouTube Patrick David, or you YouTube entrepreneurship, his name will pop up. He has the number one channel for entrepreneurship because he believes in entrepreneurship of any sort, not just PhD. Okay? And then we really give back hope to families because they don't understand what they're doing financially. How many would you agree that most people in America don't have it together financially? If you don't, most. You think it's just millennials? You guys look like millennials. You're no. You're all the millennials in the room. Gen Xers? Any Gen Xers in the room? Right? We're the sexiest generation right here, right? That's right. I'm a Gen Xer, right? So then you have Gen Xers. How many think Gen Xers have it all together? Yeah, we know we don't, right? And then the baby boomers, which I think are the closest to having it all together, they have more money in America than any other generation does, right? Saved and put away, but they also don't have what? Answers to problems, real problems. Like, how are they going to handle their medical bills in the next 20 years because they're living longer? How are they going to handle their retirement plans that are all invested in the stock market and they don't know where to put them because they're worried about losing them? So every generation has financial woes, okay? And then is the cost of living going up or going down? Is our income going up at the same pace? Okay, so we have some serious problems, and our goal is to just bring back hope. That's what we want to do, bring back hope, okay? Change it. So when I talk to people, they're very skeptical. And you guys will get to know me a little bit, either just through today or if we see each other again. I'm super direct. I think it's just because of how my parents raised me. I'm Puerto Rican. We don't mince words. We're just super direct. So when people are skeptical, I address the skepticism very quickly with logic. Okay, it's not emotional for me. It's like, look, that doesn't make sense because this, and this. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay, we're done. Can we move on? Yes, we can move on. That's kind of how I handle it. It's how police officers kind of have to do things, right? It's like logic, no emotion. This doesn't make sense for this, or I'm taking you in because of this and that. Shut up and handcuff you. Let's go. Okay, it's kind of very logical. I do it the same way. So where does skepticism come from? Just bring it on. Thank you. What do we do? What are we selling? Right? You asked me that when we walked in. So what do you do? Didn't you ask me that? You didn't ask me what we were selling, but what is it? What exactly is the product, right? And it's because why? In America, financially, we've been taken advantage of. A lot of banks have gone under. Banks haven't always done people right. Okay. In addition, we've been conditioned to say no. Someone knocks on your door, just whatever it is, tell them no. Every time someone knocks on our door, one of us answers. The other one always says, "Tell them no. Don't buy anything, babe." And it's funny because he always ends up buying everything that comes to our front door. Everything, right? So if you guys still step door to door, come to our door. He will buy, okay? I promise you, right? You know it's true, right? Also, the consequences of not knowing, right? There's so many people, when I was sick, guys, and I went under for surgery, I remember not thinking about anything other than regret of what I had done. Like, if I die right now, there's so much I didn't get to accomplish. And then I had heart surgery in 2014 and 2015, and I remember thinking the same thing. Man, I'm on the deathbed again, and if I don't wake up, I'm not thinking about anything other than the things I didn't do that I wish I would have done, right? The relationships I wish I would have mended, things like that, okay? And so oftentimes skepticism comes from of not knowing what's out there, being taken advantage of, and wondering what if, okay, what if this is real, but what if it's not? Am I gonna look stupid to my friends and family because they got me, right? And so the cool thing is we'll address that in a minute. Move on, maybe. So let me tell you, this is how I overcome, is this real or not? Today's realities. Lack of financial education. I asked this question yesterday to 3 different generations. It was a young girl who was a single mom, Then I asked it to a couple they're in the same generation. They're like 26 each, baby on the way, 1-year-old in their lap. And then I asked their mother and stepdad. Okay, so different generations. And I said, if we all had to get in my car today, and we were gonna go buy diapers, go buy milk, go buy a new shirt, go buy some trash bags, go buy a mattress pad, go buy some towels, and go buy some groceries. Where can we get in the car right now and drive to? What store can we get all those different things at? Walmart. Most likely they'll have a little bit of everything I just mentioned, right? Maybe not the best brands, best quality all the time, but they have a little bit of everything, okay? And we all know to get in the car together. But if you say, Maritza, I need to get out of debt in the next 5 years. I have a tremendous amount of student loan debt. I do not understand how it works, and I do not understand how I can lower it and get rid of it. I want to plan for my retirement, but I don't know anything outside of my job. There's life insurance out there, but I heard there's 6 different kinds. I need to understand what's my best option, right? My mom and dad are losing a ton of money in their IRA at the bank, and they don't know what their options are. My kid wants to go to college, but I've only heard of one plan. What are the other plans that exist? Where do we get in our car and go get all that information at? Where do we go get educated at to do that? I can tell you now, most people go to their job, and the HR lady says, everybody does this one. Just check this box right here. It'll come out of your check every 2 weeks how much you want for that check. That's what we get our advice. True or not true? You go to the bank, and they say, sign up right here, and a financial advisor will sit down with you, and like Wells Fargo for $500, he'll go over your option. They're going to offer you only what Wells Fargo offers. Okay? Or you go, hey, what do you do? What did you get involved in the oil field? You've been doing this for 5 years. What do you put your money in? That's how I did it as a teacher. Oh, we do a 403B. All right, a 403B it is. I'll refer you to my advisor. And I sat down with Helen Abernathy King, and I remember her name because when I learned how those plans work, I wanted to kill her. She didn't disclose a whole lot of information that I should have known before I made a decision. That makes sense? So that's how we get our financial advice. We get insurance through our job because why not? It's free or very inexpensive. We don't think about the consequences of that. So everyone's giving everyone advice. Yet 98% of the country is broke. Why would you listen to each other? So it just becomes habitual. We all do it. I did it, you did it, we all do it. It's just the way life is. And so that's what's going on in our country. Insufficient insurance protection. GoFundMe is not life insurance. GoFundMe is not life insurance. I had a niece, I'll give you 2 great scenarios. I had a niece, she passed away. My niece's daughter passed away. She had twins, boy and a girl, okay? I remember sending the text message as soon as they were born. Sweetheart, I know you're 19. I know you don't understand all this mumbo jumbo, but you need life insurance and you need to protect those babies. Never know, right? Words that haunt me because 4 months later, the little girl died in her sleep, okay? My great niece spent 2 months in the morgue. 2 months because they didn't have life insurance to bury her. And the morgue wouldn't bury her. She sat in the morgue. Freaking craziest thing I've ever heard. Like you would think someone would have a heart and just bury that baby. No, my niece, after a week of mourning, had to go back to work to earn the money to try to get the money for her. Crazy as heck. I started to GoFundMe. This is like, what, 2 years ago? 2 years ago, I got back in the industry. It broke my heart, right? Why? Because it's not something we think about until after the fact, okay? So that's one story. The other one is, baby, you're going way ahead of me. The other one is my father, when I was 10 years old, we started noticing a lot of whispering, right? I'm 10, I got a 6-year-old brother, I got a 14-year-old brother, and a 15-year-old brother. And one day it just came out, your father has cancer. Well, you're 10 and under, you really don't get that. 14 and above, you start understanding what that means. And I don't really remember knowing that my father was going to die because I don't remember ever feeling like I was going to lose my father. So I guess I wasn't traumatized by it. But my father, they gave him a 20% chance. It's stage 4 colon cancer. Like today, it can be cured, but I think it's the #2 form of death in the country still when it comes to cancer, right? And thankfully, a doctor had a new machine and said, hey, this works in Europe. I just ordered the machine. You want to be my guinea pig? You're going to die anyways. And my dad said, why not? No life insurance. My mom worked in a bottle factory making minimum wage. This is back in 1980s. 4 kids. Well, what happened to us when my father had died? My father, thank God, is still alive. He just had his 70th birthday, right? Wow. Well, what happened to my mom? Really? My mom's not from this country. My mom had no education at the time. Nothing. We have no family here, right? My dad's brothers couldn't take us in. We literally, she would either married another man so he could take care of us, right? Or we would have been, I don't know what would have happened because my father didn't believe in life insurance, which is complete irresponsibility, okay? At the end of the day, that generation wasn't educated, okay? So when I sit down with families, life insurance is for people who love their families. So if you don't have it and you don't know your options, then I have to question whether you love your family. Because why wouldn't you take care of it? Especially if your car's insured and your cell phone's insured. So when we sit down with people and you're wondering what kind of company we are, these are very direct, real conversations we have. Because I'd rather have you not like me and kick me out your house and know I told you the truth than to go to bed and I was slimy and try to convince you of doing something that you may not even keep anyways. I sleep really good at night when I'm very honest with people because it's my job. It's what I'm supposed to do. And I may be the last chance to get you to change your mind and tomorrow you get hit by a truck and I deliver a check to that spouse knowing that because I was a little more edgy than the other companies that I took care of your family. Does that make sense? And so insurance is like, you can tell, like I get the chills thinking about it. Insurance is like, oh my God, like if you don't have it, like it's state of emergency. Consumer debt. Sit down with the family. I had $103,000 in student loans. When I met my husband, his favorite thing was what? That's a what?
Factor.
That's a factor. I don't know if I want to get married. I don't want to inherit your debt. And I'm like, you're such a loser. I can't believe you told me that's a factor, right? I don't know if I want to marry you. It's a factor in my decision. So I would you drive me nuts. But $103,000 is a small house here in the state, right? When I think about it, it's a lot of money. So I went through our student loan program after he urged me, why don't you try it? You preach it. Why don't you try it? I'm like, we're not going to qualify. So I finally listened. 63,000 forgiven. Like, wiped off the face of the earth. Pretty cool. Okay? And now I owe 40. My payment went from $1,200 a month, not 12,000, $1,200 a month to a little over 200. Okay? So that's 1,000 back in my pocket. Then on the credit card side, as you see up there, the average household has 16,000 in credit card debt. We have between the two of us 60 something and change, medical bills, divorce bills, just bills. Okay? So we married each other's bills as well, right? And so we went through the credit card resolution program. On the track we were on, we'd be out of debt in about 14 years. The program we got on was a 4-year program, and our payment went from a little over $2,100 a month to about $1,300. But now we have, and about 20,000 of it was forgiven, and over, fees, crazy interest rates, we settled, right? And so now we have 800 in our pocket from credit cards. We have 1,000 in our pocket from student loan debt. If I put $1,800 back in the average family's pocket, what do you think they're going to do with that $1,800? You think they're going to save it? Most families are going to. They might save some of it, but a majority of it's going to go to more debt, Corolla to Mercedes, New Iberia to Lafayette. I don't know. Move up in the neighborhood. I don't know the neighborhoods here, but there's going to be a big difference, right? And so, if I wasn't in the industry, I would have wanted someone to say, "Here, you have 1,800. Let's take 1,200 of that, and let me show you what to do with it to build assets, to build savings, to get your kids to college. Or do you want to blow 600? Go blow it." Okay. And so that's what we do for families. And then you look at family Social Security. Our parents are living longer. When I get to Social Security, it will not be there. And if it is, it'll be very minimal. Social Security was created because the life expectancy of men when it was created was 62. So they made Social Security start at what age? 65. What's happening today to people? Even men, they're living longer. So if you notice, they push the age back to 67, right? Eventually it'll be 70, and then one day they'll say you can start collecting at 98, right? Yeah, exactly. So Social Security, the challenge is it was created because it wasn't expected people would live that long. Now it takes 3 working people to pay 1 person on Social Security. 3 working Americans. Kind of scary. Okay. So what is our backup plan for you guys? Right, millennials, even our age group. What's our backup plan? The last is pension funds. Who's familiar with pensions? Anybody? Police officers and nurses and doctors and teachers, firemen, they typically have them, right? A pension's a fancy way of saying we're going to have a big pot of money for you, and at the end of the road, based on how much you have in there, we'll give you a monthly income till you die. Some of them will let your husband or wife inherit them, and some of them don't. Okay, it's pretty simple. And so he's like, do I get yours, right? It's a very real question, right? So there used over 84,000 pension plans have been gone since 1985. There's only about 30,000 remaining today, and I believe that number has changed. So I'm looking at a few notes, a couple things I want to make sure I don't forget to cover. So one of the most important things, when I sit down with the family, there's all these things going on in their households. There's other things that I didn't cover, like what if you fall off a ladder and get hurt? And you can't work for 18 months. What if you're in a major accident and you're incapacitated for 2 years? Who pays your income? Who keeps the money coming in the house? What if you get cancer like I did and you were out for 11 months? How do you keep putting food on the table? Because because the state may not kick in. Your job definitely may not kick in. So what other options do you have? What if you get something like that just throws you in the hospital for a little bit? I was watching the news the other day, and someone got this sickness and she's been in the hospital for like 23 weeks. They don't know what it is yet, right? Like, who keeps paying the bills? Because you know they keep coming, right? So for us, when I sit down with the family, there's a lot of holes in people's boats and financial plans. The boat is the financial plan. My job is to cover up the holes. Find the hole and cover it. And we give options. It's just figuring out what the holes are, because every single family, married with children, 3 kids? 4 kids. 4 kids, right? Married, how many kids over there in the back? In the back, Jeremy? How many kids? 2. 2 kids. My husband and I, 3 kids, blended family. 4 kids. Are you married? Single. Single, 4 kids. Married, 2 kids, right? We have people on the team that are single. We have people on the team that are older, in their 50s. Kids are gone. Now they're kind of being grandparents that kind of raise the children, help take care of them. There's so many different generations. So for me to have a cookie cutter approach would be terrible. You sit down with pretty much any company in the industry. If you go to New York Life, anyone heard of New York Life? Whatever you two say to them, guess what kind of product you're going to buy? A New York Life product. That's all they offer. Their own. So is it very subjective or objective? Not really. Like, it may be the best, but how do you know it is? You don't. Okay? You sit down with State Farm, same thing. Good, strong name brand, good, strong company. The challenge is no matter what comes out of your mouth, they're going to offer you a term or a whole life product, right? And it's going to be a State Farm one. So if there's something in the industry that may be better for you, they either don't know about it or they can't tell you because that's not who they represent. Okay, so our model is a little different. It's tweaked a little, which is why we've gone from nobody in 7 years ago, sorry, it's in 2009, where today we have 50 offices, 21 states, we're worth $100 million, and we just continue to grow as a company. And I really believe it's because we are completely objective across the kitchen table, but I have so many options to offer a client. We're really just trying to center it on what they need. It's all about them, okay, because I have the answers, I just got to figure out what the problem is first, okay? Very different approach to our industry. So trust, I might skip through this too. This is why people are skeptical. The banking industry, all those suckers went out of business. Anybody recognize any of them? All of them are out of business. Okay? Next. CD rates. My mom used to say, go put your money in CDs. Anybody's parents believe in CDs? Yeah, my parents, some of you are like, I have a friend who's 26 from the Marines. He's like, I thought a CD was like, you know, put it in, listen to music. Certificate of deposit, right? In 1981, 16%, pretty high, right? I can imagine lines and lines at the bank of people putting money in CDs, right? The challenge with that is that if your CD rates are high, like interest rates are high, so is your mortgage rate. Mortgage rates at that time were 25, 26, 27% on your mortgage. Okay, so they're very correlated together. So today, when the mortgage rate is 4%, 3%, that means the bank's giving you nothing on your money. As soon as the mortgage rates go to 8%, go to the bank. You'll see CDs will be 2 and 3% because they're very connected. Okay, based off the bank. So your money, based on the rule of 72, the money will double in 4.3 years. Rule of 72 says you take the number 72, take the interest rate you get, and the answer is how long it takes your money to double. So if you had a calculator, you put 72 divided by 16.691, that will be the answer. Okay? Simple math. Things that we should have learned a long time ago. My dad took 7 years to support me. 7 years my father took to say, okay, I want to hear what you have to say. And then it took him another like 8 years to like really grasp what we do. And it was recently, he was at our house last year in Puerto Rico, and he sat down with me and I taught him the rule of 72. He's like, why didn't you tell me you just teach math to people? I would have jumped on board a long time ago because he's a math man, he loves math, right? So he finally gets it. You teach people. You teach people about money. When I taught him the rule of 72, he was blown away because he gets math. Makes sense, right? So the lowest 90-day CD rate in history was less than 1%, less than half of a percent in 2010. So CD's not an answer for people. Next one, babe. The market opportunity. So the success of any business has a lot to do with timing. You guys agree? Right place, right time. That's all it's about, okay? So think about from 1946 to 1964, a generation called baby boomers, probably your parents. Yeah, right? My parents, no? Your parents aren't boomers yet? No, they're in our age group, probably like 40s, almost 50, right? Yeah, so they might be either young boomers or still might be, oh my gosh, Sage, we're old. You're awesome. Appreciate you maybe. I'm your mama. No, cool. So, our parents. Oh, man, you guys realize us. Our parents are baby boomers, right? So, our parents were born from 1946 to 1964. Okay, why is that important? The men were coming back from war. They hadn't seen their wives in years. and they wanted to make babies. It's the largest generation in the history of America until millennial generation came out, right? So if in 1946 you knew that 76 million babies would be born over the next 18 years, what would you offer that could help you make lots of money? Gerber. They were doing about 50,000 jars or so a month in baby food. They went to 7 million a month. Household name today, still, true or not true? Shampoo, Johnson & Johnson. Toys and Mattel. Barbie came out in 59, and then her sidekick came out in 61. Which is why I question that God made man first, because Barbie came first. Just kidding. That was a terrible Christian joke. Sorry. So, in 1950, this slide for some reason always messes up. So if you guys see overlapping, just ignore it. This tells you anybody confused because our slide looks jacked up. So, baby, you're going way ahead of me. Can you wait, please? Thank you. So 20% of all public schools were built in America before the 1950s. I don't even like reading the slide because the reality is that most of them were built in 1950 to 1969, the biggest boom of baby boomers. Okay, that's why all the schools in New York, Texas, and California, a lot of them were built by the same builder. A lot of them were exactly alike. Okay, because they have to build schools by the masses. So if you were in construction, timing was awesome. Then in the 1960s, 16-year-olds wanted what? I want to drive. You don't have a 16-year-old. As soon as mine turned 16, Mom, can I drive? Mom, can I drive? Every time we left the driveway, Mom, can I drive? It'd be midnight, we're going home, Mom, can I drive? Like, no, of course you can, right? And does he want to drive I had a Lexus at the time. I was like, when you get a car, you can have my Lexus. I don't want your Lexus, that's a girl car, right? Right, that's what I would say, right? But in those days, what do they want? Fast cars. 1964 Mustang is still the best-selling Mustang car of all time. Okay, why? Because kids wanted fast cars. Okay, so Ford came out, all those different cars came out, and forever took over the industry because of baby boomers. They were demanding it. In the 70s and 80s, they didn't want to rent anymore. So the real boom in when people say I'm going to get into real estate, I'm like, you're about 3 decades too late. Because 70s and 80s, every single boomer on the block was buying a house. So you would trip over houses, right? You would trip over people buying houses. Okay, the mortgage industry was the same way. That's when real estate and escrow got big, title got big. Also, you're going too fast, babe. Also, the stock market was starting to increase. Because remember, rates are tied to the stock market. So that a lot of people were getting into the stock market industry because people were starting to save and invest, and the boomers were trying to grow their money and do stuff. So they were very influential, these 3 generations. Everything they want that needed to be created was created, and they created a boom. And so if you got into the industry at that time, you would be very successful financially. Okay? If you move forward to today's timing, in 2011, the first baby boomer turned 59 and a half. And that's important because it triggers to the IRS that it can access their retirement plans, okay, without penalty. Okay? So from 2011 to 2029, 10,000 baby boomers a day turned 59 and a half, which is legal retirement age for them. 10,000 a day, because that's how many of them there are. Okay? And what do you think people in their 60s are worried about today when it comes to finances? Maybe some of the things that might be important. I'm sorry? Will I have enough? Because they're living longer, so they're hoping they saved enough. What else? Anybody? What do old people worry about? Health. Medical. Is Medicaid Part A, Part B? What's going to take care of it? What else? Are their kids stable and living on their own? Oftentimes their kids are doing what? Moving back in. Right? I'm sorry? They're doing drugs. Probably, maybe. Right? It's a crazy generation, right? They're worried about their homes. Guess what? They're retiring and they're going, where do I put my money so that it lasts forever? Right? Am I going to have enough? Am I going to take taken advantage of? Who's going to give me advice? My house isn't paid off, so am I going to keep it? Am I going to reverse mortgage it? They're thinking, I have my life insurance just canceled because I had a 30-year plan, and it's been 30 years. I'm 60 now. It's done. I have no more life insurance. Or I had it through my job, and when I retired, it didn't go with me. So now if I want life insurance, I have to purchase it at the ripe old age of 60, which is going to cost a lot. So these are all real worries. Then you go to my generation, right? So that shows the demand in that generation. Okay, how they created everything, and that's why industries have been successful. If you just get in this industry because you need to help them figure out their finances, excuse me, but old people will take care of you financially. Me and my husband for the next 20 years will never run out of people. Okay? But then you go to the next generation, which I'll do the next slide. Cover that. So that's the next group. Perfect. So the next generation is mine. 46 million. We're screwed up. Went to school, student loans. We have everything under the belt. We think we know everything. We got 403Bs, 401Ks. We're badass. And what happens? We go to a job. We've been working there for 15 years. We have our pretty fancy degrees. We think we know it all. This is my generation, guys. A lot of my real personal friends, right? And then we walk in and they say, ma'am, Kathy, I'm sorry. Your service has been awesome, but we have to let you go. We've X'd out your title, or we can't afford you. I walked into a job, we can't afford you anymore, right? And you know what they did? They went and got 2 millennials who took $30,000 each, so they don't have to pay you 60 to get 2 people doing the job for them. And they're going to probably live longer because they're 20 years younger than you, so we're going to give them a job. That's what's happening to my generation. We have $10,000 or less saved, statistically, less than $10,000 saved for retirement, and I'm in my mid-40s almost. Okay? $10,000 means if that's all I have for retirement, I'm working until I die. Because there's no way I can save enough to ever grow it so I can comfortably retire. Okay? That's my generation. Okay? In addition, my generation, if they've screwed up, they're moving back in. And in this generation, some of them believe in entrepreneurship, and some of them believe in college. They're a very mixed group of people. Okay? Some of them love college, some of them love entrepreneurship. And what they're doing is that they're moving back in with their parents. At 23, 24, Mom, I can't find a job. I have a master's degree, but I'm working at Chili's and I'm working at Applebee's, right? I got a bartender job, so I can make some money, but I can't live on my own. That's really what's going on. It's called the sandwich generation. And I'm the sandwich. My generation is the one taking care of both sides. Something happens to my father, my mother can't take care of herself. Conversely, if something happens to my mother, my father can't take care of himself. Especially with all his medical issues, right? They would have to move back in. You know, all my siblings, us, or maybe my little brother. Right? My son who's 18, his daughter who's 21, she's in a nursing program. She can't find a job. Where's she gonna live? She's moving back home because she doesn't have an option. She doesn't have any options. So we're stuck in the middle and we're screwed up. So we're looking for answers now. We're not looking for jobs. We're like, how can we? I don't need $60,000 a year. I need lots of money so I can solve these financial issues. So that's why entrepreneurship has grown so much, and we're on the forefront of it. And then the senior market, as you guys know, they're the same generation as the boomer market. They're just having the same issues. We're taking care of them. So just look forward to it, way forward, babe. Kind of gives you the age group, lets you know where you fall, millennials over there, and the rest of you older people. So let me tell you this. I already talked about this. These guys are right there. 83% guys, 83% don't have a job like that. Oh, I've had college students say, when I get out, my entry level will probably be about 60. Where? Where are you going for a job? Because I got to tell my friends about it, like, are you crazy? That's what they think their entry level is going to be. And then if they really looked at statistics, 66%, 2 out of 3 Americans make less than $41,000 a year. If you live here, if both of you make $41,000, it's not bad money here. Where we live, $80,000 between the two of us, we're living in like literally we're living in a really bad neighborhood. Because in California, you just can't live off $80,000. It's virtually impossible. Even if we didn't have kids, impossible. So expensive there, right? So you have to live really in the country or in a really suburban area that's not fancy, but just more like little cottages. It's really scary. And then everyone in the world is using a 401k type plan. $4.7 trillion in a 401k plan, right? Where the #1 benefit goes to the employer. Every time you put a dollar, they write off that dollar. They'll give the employer tax breaks if they can get 50 people to participate. Because 50 people are going to be taxed on it down the road when they retire. But the one, he'll get the write-off forever. So they're like, oh, we'll give the one a break to get those 50. They'll lose that one to gain 50. Does that make sense? That's why the 401k was created in 1984. Because they needed to find a way to tax the people more when they retire so they can fund our depleting Social Security fund, our depleting Medicare fund, our depleting veterans fund. That's why the 401k was created. So if you understand that, then you wonder, well, everyone's doing this, and why are we all struggling? Okay? So PHP, our focus is to change America's future, to really educate them. The things we talk about, nobody wants to hear about. And they think we're crazy, and that's okay. Because most movements started with a couple crazy people, and then it just spread. The civil rights movement started like that, and so did Christianity. Just a couple crazy suckers that really believed in something, and then went out and wanted to change the world. And that's what PHP is. That's what we stand for. Okay? So moving forward, why do you want to get in this industry? I talked to you about the different times. So in the 1970s, there were 500,000 life insurance agents. You're asking me, Kathy, What do I do? What's my title? I'm a life insurance agent, right? Nothing sexy about it. My business card says bring sexy back to life insurance. It's got to be on the card like this, right? But typically insurance agents don't have anyone on their card standing like that. Then my husband behind me like, yeah, that's my girl, right? But why do I bring that up? In the 1970s, there was 500,000 people that had the same license that I have, okay? We had 204 million people in America. Now don't hit the button, babe. We had 204 million people in America. Take a guess at how many agents we have currently as of 2000. I think the slide says 2014. How many agents do you think we have? Because the population obviously has gone up since 1970. What do you think we have today? Come on, guess. Let me try. Excuse me? A million. Good guess. It's my dad guessed. Less than 500,000. That's just such a big guess. We have 500,000 possible right answers that I did, right? These are all of the above. None of the above. What about you? Take a guess. 3 million. I would think, like you two think, the population goes up, logically, so does that. Show it to us, baby. Move forward. 149,000. In all of the U.S. This is not in California, it's not in Louisiana, this is the whole country. Yet our population went up by over 100 million people in America. Remember we talked about earlier what the demand was? What was in demand in the 1970s? What were baby boomers buying? Remember I told you you can trip over them? Houses, right? They were buying houses. So everyone that was in life insurance started going, wait a minute, everyone's buying real estate. So a lot of these agents went into real estate, another industry. A lot of them went into, what do you gotta qualify for when you buy a house? A mortgage. So they went into mortgages. Then I tell you what was booming? The stock market was booming. So they all left. Okay? What's happening today is these suckers haven't figured out that the boom is over. The boom is over. Our real estate broker who sold our house was like, oh my God, Maritza, this is not an industry you want to get in. She's been in it for 12 years and she does good, but it wasn't like it used to be for her, right? And they haven't figured out that the wave right here is huge because now baby boomers are doing what? Retirement. And they're transitioning from buying homes, investing in the stock market, to needing insurance, needing retirement, needing solutions, needing healthcare, needing all the things that I can do with my license. So right now, what happens when there's a huge demand for services and a low supply of people who can offer it? Money. You go Walmart on Black Friday, how many people 800 people stand in line for 40 televisions on sale for $99. That's called supply and demand, baby, right? Guess what's gonna happen when they run out of TVs? You think people go forget it, maybe? No, they just walk in and get other things. This one's $50 more, let's just get this one. They still sell stuff. Supply and demand. That's all it is. Okay? So my industry, once my husband got this, I got it early on. Once he understood, like, man, babe, I promise you everybody needs what we do, and there's not enough people that have a license like me, I promise you, like I promise you, we'll make lots of money. We'll do well. Okay? And then I've delivered on my promise. He still owes me a couple promises, but we won't talk about that. It's a whole other conversation. So we'll move on. Awesome. So we're a combination of a couple things. I told you we started in 2009. You guys remember that? We have how many offices? Does anybody remember the number? About 50 across the country. We're in 21 states. Louisiana officially, I think, will be the 22nd state. It's kind of exciting. We're growing. We're just growing. It all started in California, all of it. And our CEO moved our home office last year to Dallas. We're in Spring, Texas, our home office now because it's cheaper in Texas for business, tax-wise, and things like that. And we just keep growing. My husband and I just brought on New Jersey. So if you're looking at New Jersey, we just brought on about, tonight it'll be about 70 agents in New Jersey. Most of them are licensed already, and they love the PHP story, and they just want to grow in their area. So people are looking for real opportunities. A lot of them have jobs, but they're looking for something on the side that can bring them the income they really want, so that they have options. They don't have to quit their job. They just want the option to be able to make choices, like my husband did, like I did. So we're a combination of a few things. The first is the insurance and financial services industry. I'm in the industry. I talked about this earlier. I'm not of the industry. I will sit down with a 19-year-old. We have an 18-year-old on our team. His name is Chase. Hi, Chase, because I know he's watching, right? Chase is awesome. And he's getting ready to go to Bible school. He's an awesome young man in Lake Charles. And Chase says, I really want to learn about money. Like, nobody in my family knows this. I want to be the go-to person in my family. I know they won't take me serious now, but when I get older, they will. And I need to understand these things. So when I get married, I want to be able to make good choices. And so we're willing to teach him money because he really wants to learn. We don't care that he's 18 and maybe can only save $10 a month, $15. We don't care about that. We care really about teaching them. The industry would never do that. These guys would never do that. They're not bad companies. They just serve a different market. Okay? Then you move forward, franchise system. How do they take a school teacher, a math teacher, a science teacher? I'm terrible at science. I don't even know what they were thinking making me a science teacher. I failed science every year since I was a little kid, right? And then I would get good grades because I turned in my work, so I always passed with a C. But if I didn't do my homework, I would have failed. I was just horrendous at science. I was a science teacher. It was the weirdest thing, right? So how do I get into this industry and understand how to help families, how to earn money, how to run an office, how to do training? How do I learn that? We have a system. People pay, how much do you think people spend to buy one McDonald's? Take a guess.
Million.
Good guess, baby. I don't know how you knew that. So a million, right? So you look at like a Starbucks or you look at a Domino's, a Subway costs about 250 grand. You know why people buy them? Because they're a system. It's already established. It's like paint by numbers and then you end up getting the picture. It's no different. So people are paying for an established system that works. This company right here, #1 system in the world. They feed 6% of the world's population on a daily basis. #1 system in the world. So when you buy one, you got to commit to buying 10. $1 million a pop. And 750,000 of it has to be your own money. It cannot be borrowed from a bank. It cannot be loans. It has to be your personal assets. So if I told you all in here, let's go buy a McDonald's, how many of you have 750,000 of your own money liquid? None of us. She's like, I do, baby. You didn't know she's rich, right? She's like the Heinz ketchup daughter or something, right? No. So the reality, where did I come from? Heinz ketchup, right? The reality is, even if one of our parents, our brothers, our family members, we wanted to go in it together, we're X'd out financially because none of us have that kind of money lying around. So this is really for the elite. When I was playing softball growing up, one of my friend's dads owned a Taco Bell. I was like, that's cool. He would bring us tacos and stuff. I thought it was so cool, right? And I was like, so how many Taco Bells does your dad own? 40. They were balling. They like Little House on the Prairie daughters. They were always dressed real conservative. I think they were Mormon. They were very, very serious, but they were really good with their money. He owned 40 of them. So anytime the team needed anything, he paid for it. Because he owned a franchise system. And even if he only makes $40,000 per Taco Bell, what's 40,000 per Taco Bell times 40? You do the math, about 1.6, right? You do the math, right? So if you own 10 of these and they each net 50,000, you're still making $5 million a year. It X's us out. But our business works here because we have a system that's very similar to the McDonald's system. Okay, very similar. When you buy a McDonald's, you pay $1 million, and then you go to Hamburger University for a year, and then you learn every freaking station you would run in a McDonald's, even the cleaner, how to clean the floor. Then after you finish, and they say you're worthy of opening your store, then you go into your store and you have to spend a year in your store like an employee. So oftentimes you walk into a new one and the owner's there, you just don't know who he is or she is. Right? No, we men only know, right? So, or who she is, right? And so why is that important? Because now they're learning how to run their store, how to deal with it on a daily basis. After a year, they actually have the physical key to theirs, and then they got to start planning their next 9. Okay, that's how it works. So our system is exactly the same, except we don't spend $1 million to start. We pay $150 to get started to buy into our system, to buy into the opportunity to own your own business, because you literally own your book of business. Here you don't. Most companies don't let you own their book of business. Here you do. And then you go through our training program. One of us will train you. Right? You go through the state to get your professional license, that's yours. We don't pay for it because you get to keep it. One day you want to leave and go open up ABC insurance company on your own and be independent, you take the license with you and it's yours. It doesn't belong to us. A lot of companies will pay for your license, but then you owe them 3 years. You owe them 5 years or your license is void. We don't do that. It's yours. You want to leave it. Okay? Then you move to word of mouth marketing. How do we get our clients? That's how we get our clients. We met Jeremy, my husband met him on social media. Our Lake Charles team, we met on social media. My Florida team, 3 offices strong now. Hey, Florida, social media team. We met them on social media. Now we have 60-something agents in Florida. When we met them, they're looking for an opportunity. They jumped on board. We flew out there. Boom. They started. They exploded. Now they're running their own office. New Jersey, social media. Right? A lot of my clients, I meet someone. We do a good job for them. Hey, who do you know? Hey, you got to talk to my friend. She's getting retired. Who do you know? You got to talk to my kids. They don't know any of this stuff. Who do you know? Oh, my granddaughter just had a baby. Who do you know? My friend, her husband just cashed inherited some money. Who do you know? She's in a ton of student loans and she just graduated. And it just keeps going. So a referral basis. We don't knock on doors. We don't open up the phone pages. It's strictly referrals. Then we're doing the shrimp, put your shrimp and oil festival, what is it called? Shrimp and petroleum festival. Black, that's another word for black and shrimp, right? Sorry. So we're gonna do the shrimp and petroleum festival. We'll have a table. We'll have a pretty tablecloth that says PHP. There'll be a banner in the background letting them know we're actively recruiting in the area. There'll be a banner on this side talking about our products and services. And we'll get people that walk up to our table and say, what is this? And we'll meet 10 people. We did the Lemon Festival recently in California. We had 100 people come to our table that actually signed up and said, I want to know more about your company. So they're giving us their names. We're not cold calling them. That makes sense? No gimmicks. Hey, drop your card in here. We don't do that. You want to know more about us? Great. If you don't, great. Right? There's no feeding it down people's throats. Okay? So word of mouth marketing has, people say, does it work? 50 offices later in 7 years, I would think so. If you opened up a pie shop and 7 years later you have 50 locations that are worth $100 million, would you say that's a pretty successful pie shop? Absolutely, that's us, except we're not doing pies. Okay? So we're a combination of all three. We work very much like a broker and an agent, the way real estate does. They have a broker and there's agents. Except here our incentive is to train our agents to become brokers. We want them to open up their own shop. The company bonuses us every time someone opens up their own shop. So as soon as Jeremy opens up his own shop, I'm bonusing, right? But then Jeremy's job is, how do you grow a company? You got to create more leaders. So on Jeremy's job is, great, I'm a broker, I know what I'm doing, I'm running this territory. How do I open up Baton Rouge? And she's like, I know someone in Baton Rouge, you got to talk to him. We talked to him, now he's a stud in that area. Now he helps him grow that area, now we have a leader in Baton Rouge. And the guy in Baton Rouge is like, well, how do we get over to Alabama? New Orleans, right? New Orleans, I know it's down. Let's go to New Orleans, and then let's go to Alabama, and how do we get to Birmingham, and how do we get across, and how do we get to Mississippi, and then how do we get over to Florida, how do we go to North Carolina, and South Carolina, and Georgia. That's how it happens. A leader training another leader. This is what I did. Let me teach you. Now you know how to do it. Get up, plant it. It's like you're planting a seed in another city, planting a seed. That's what Craig and I do. We're just planting seeds in cities. Once they grow, establish. Jeremy, you got this. Next city. And then we just fly back in and help them do special events like grandparents coming into town. Everyone's excited. Then you leave. Same concept. Okay? So our vision is to be the largest. New York Life, probably the largest. Then you got Primerica, probably the second largest. Probably those two. We're in the same industry. And then State Farm probably has one of the most, and Aflac has probably one of the most name brand recognition you've seen in this country. Okay? We want to have 500,000 licensed agents. Ask me how many we have today. About 3,200. We want to have 500,000 by 2020. Hold on, we have 3,200. 3,200. We only need what? Do the math. 96,800. We got a lot of ways to go. That's exciting to me. That's exciting to me because when Primerica sold, they had about 100,000 agents, and everyone who owned a piece of that company became very wealthy. We want to have 500,000. So that's what we're pushing to. We've doubled our size every single year. It's been crazy how quickly we're growing. Okay, so in 2011, we're recognized as the fastest growing company in America, financial marketing company in America by Forbes. If you look up any of this stuff, some of you, I don't know if you guys are research people, some of you take a picture, right? So you have access to this. Valuetainment, this is our CEO. Valuetainment, #1 channel on YouTube. Then you look over at Grant Cardone. You know who Grant Cardone is? You look at this guy, he's crazy, right? This dude went from nothing in 1 year, 10 years later, he's worth 100 million. When you think of sales, that's who he is. So now him and our CEO have now had 2 interviews. He came and spoke at our last convention. Then we're kind of crazy because he's only 38 and he's a nut. Like our CEO is so freaking awesome. I've known him for many, many years at the other company I told you guys earlier, right? And he's just fun. So he decided he wanted all kinds of people in the same room together, and he wanted them all playing checkers so that we could break a world record. Kind of crazy. So now we're in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most people playing checkers simultaneously, and this was in Vegas, right? They did a flash mob in Vegas. All of a sudden, they just started dancing, middle of Vegas. Just crazy stuff, because he's crazy, right? So we get to have fun. Then Pastor Dudley Rutherford, he owns one of the biggest mega churches in the country. He's on our advisory board. Very good friends with our CEO. So our CEO, if you wonder, we're a faith-based company, but we don't have a particular faith we lean towards, if that makes sense. We have Muslim, Buddhist, everything here. Okay, but we do believe in a higher faith, and I love that because we pray all the time, right? Sometimes we just pray for each other, right? And so if you look at any of these different things, you can look it up. These are Mark Cuban. I don't know if you guys follow sports. Mark Cuban owns the Dallas Mavericks. He's a South Bay billionaire. Shark Tank.
You say billionaire or billion?
Yeah.
Yes. An average loan was about $500,000.
Dallas.
That explains why the company moved out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guarantee he's got a sweet.
So recently he was put in what magazine was this? Do you remember?
Entrepreneur right there to the right. There you go.
Duh, thank you. Entrepreneur magazine cost about $100,000 to put a spread. They just put a spread. They didn't ask him. They just had him take some pictures, and we didn't pay for it. Why? Because he has a #1 YouTube channel for entrepreneurs. Okay, so now he's kind of branded the fact that, hey, I believe in entrepreneurship. I just happen to own a company called PHP, and my job is to grow it. So he gets asked to speak at a lot of different events, coach and mentor people. He will not. His whole #1 focus is growing this. That's it. He started a cause. He wants to finish it, right? He tells us in private leadership meetings, right, because he's a very awesome, tough coach. What he talks to us about really is, what are we doing so that we have deep pockets so we can affect our communities? Because you can't affect your community if you don't have deep pockets. You can start a nonprofit, I did, called the Smash Foundation. Single moms are superheroes, right? That's what it stands for, right? I want to help the moms, I want to help the kids. I want to help stop trafficking, child trafficking, human trafficking. Biggest trafficking we have in our world, not only in our country. Biggest exchange is people, for money, for bad things, okay? So to me, I want really deep pockets so I can put money in and do that. Our pastor sends a missionary team to the Middle East where they're trading their daughters for $200-300 into sex slavery to feed the rest of their family. I just want to stop that. I need really deep pockets to stop that. It's very important to me. So he talks about how are we going to affect the world when we become wealthy. So it's not just about becoming wealthy, it's about what you're going to do to change this world. You want to put a president in the White House. So we're that company. So when people are skeptical, like it doesn't even rub me the wrong way. It's like, we're the company that's going to change the planet, but we got to have deep pockets. Where I come from, people that look like me aren't worth millions. So when I go back into those communities and I'm worth something, I can go back and teach them how I did it. Okay, because I wasn't born into it. We created it. Okay, in this amazing country that people come here, people die here to come practice capitalism. And as Americans, we're just conditioned different. We really, like my husband said, what's wrong with me? If these people are coming here fighting to take advantage of capitalism, why are we waiting for the next great job? Why are we getting laid off and waiting for unemployment? Why are we waiting for benefits when we live in a country where we can go create so much wealth? Okay, super important. That's what we're about as a company. So our last event, Magic Johnson spoke. And he was recently, Pat was recently put as one of the most admired international business people in the world. He's in between someone that one day I will meet, which is Oprah Winfrey, and Mark Zuckerberg. He's right below both of them. So it's kind of cool that he made that list at such a young age. And I don't do it as I won't say I admire Pat, I respect him. I respect what he's created in a short period of time because he had a vision and he wasn't afraid to take the leap. And he did it all because of his family, what he wanted to accomplish for them. And now it's a bigger purpose. So it's kind of cool. So what are you doing for families? I'm gonna fly through this. I talked about debt settlement. You guys already know we can help people with debt. Final expense, right? Grandma says, look, I'm 75. What you got for me? Oh, you're 75. I don't know if I have anything for you because it's expensive, right? The cool thing is we have final expenses, $2,000 to about $35,000, okay? And so at least you can buy a burial plot for her, if something, or him, if they pass away, you have something for them, at least make sure the funeral was taken care of. Okay, so we offer final expenses. Oftentimes kids will pair up and pay for it for their parents. My husband's best friend, him and his wife, they're looking to buy something for her father, so in case something happens to him, he has something there, right? Life insurance, there's about 5-6 different types. We pretty much do about every type that exists. So it's really figuring out what's the best type for you. There's term, ROP, permanent. Retirement planning, we talked about that. Imagine you go to retire and you pull money out of your account and you don't have to pay taxes. Wouldn't that be awesome? Most people don't have a plan like that, but they exist. Our plan is like that. We have a retirement plan, we don't pay taxes when we retire, right? Most people haven't heard of it. 401k rollovers. Imagine moving your money to something called an annuity with one of these freaking awesome companies. There were just 5 of 30 of our different companies, multi-million-dollar companies. And we move your money over, and grandma knows that for the rest of her life, she'll never lose a penny because we put it in a pension-like plan. So it protects it grows it, and it gives her an income for life with no risk. So that's what we offer our clients. All our plans are risk-free. So I sit down with the client, it's like, what if I lose my money? Impossible, because it's with insurance. And the way it's set up, it's impossible by contract. Okay, so when someone says, hey, I haven't heard of you, I'm a little skeptical, let me tell you the Nationwide story. Nationwide, 3 years ago, decided they wanted to be partners. But before they did, they sent in an investigative team. You know what an investigative team is, right? They send them in, and they say, hey, we want to look at your books. We want to look at your client. We want to do some interviews. They spent about 9 months and about $3 million investigating our books. So when someone says, hey, I want to Google you guys, go ahead. Because if Nationwide found nothing and they're one of our premier carriers, and then all these other companies that are all, some of them, this is a Fortune 50 company. They're a Fortune 100 company. And these guys have been around on the planet for some of them over 100 years. We're pretty okay. No, you're not gonna find anything, Chris. We're pretty legit. Okay? Moving forward. I'm not gonna talk about annuities because I just did. You guys get it? The annuities are guaranteed pension plans. You have one at your job. Okay, that's what an annuity is. The lottery, you know, when you win, they say payments for life. That's an annuity. It's a pension plan. That's all it is. It's a fancy word. Okay. So let me give you an idea what wealthy people do. This is the bank, mom and dad. This is people out of job, 401ks. Exciting, holy moly. Exciting, holy moly. Okay? The green line, oh, kind of exciting. What happened in that dip? It went flat. Then it keeps going up. In the dip, it went flat. Then it keeps going up. Why is that important? The green line is where we put our clients. You notice it never goes down. It only goes flat. So, while red lines are roller coastering their money and stressed out, our clients know in the up years, they'll get most of the return, most of it, but in the down years, they get none of it. Okay? So once you turn 35, 40, it's like, how do I grow without losing? That's the green line. Very simple concept. How do they do that? In the years that there's growth, they keep that little difference. The insurance company does. So that in the years that it loses, they take all the risk. So if you wonder how they do it, in the good years, they get a piece. And in the bad years, they take all the risk. So it kind of balances out. Make sense? That's all we're teaching. It's simple, not rocket science. If you want to know how you do it, that's where it gets complicated. If you really want to know like the ins and outs, I have to study and learn that stuff. But for our clients, we just keep it simple. Because they've heard of the products, no one ever explained it to them. So how do we make money? Because I'm all about money. Because money saved my son from having to have a mom who worked 3 jobs. It saved my parents from having to give me $500 every paycheck. It really did. My dad's like, yes, right? Why is it important? This is what I bought into, by the way. This is what I bought into. I did not buy into the stuff I'm telling you now. I'm gonna be worth $1 million. I'm gonna be worth $5 million. Grandma's gonna travel the world. I didn't buy into any of that. That was someone else's life. I bought into that. I said, if I can help one family a week who saves $100 a month. How many people you know today are putting $100 a month towards something? Maybe insurance, maybe a little bit of retirement, maybe a little stash for their kid for college. So $100 collectively. Most families are trying to do something like that, right? California might be a little higher, it might be 2. But let's just say you have a family who does $100 a month and you only help one family a week. Based on this compensation program, right? You average about $1,200, right? $100 a month times 12 months is what? $1,200. So you have one client who saves $1,200 a year per week. So 4 clients a month who saves $1,200 a year, because you've got 100 times 12, equals $4,800. If you're at a 40% contract, which is what Jeremy's on, right? He would make $1,920 extra per month. Where I live, where anybody lives, that's a nice little chunk of change part-time. Okay? You can start getting out of debt. You can start tackling that car note. You can start tackling student loans. You can start putting away for your kids' college. You might be able to splurge on a nice pair of shoes. Maybe you want to go get a massage. I don't know what people do with their money, right? Those are all things that were important to me, right? I can start paying back my parents the money I borrowed over the years. Yes, if you're watching Mom and Dad, eventually I'll pay you guys, right? Everything. But my parents over the years took care of me. Does that make sense? So over time, you want to be able to do the same thing. So in a year, that's $23,000 part-time tax-free income. Why? Because now you're writing off your cell phone. You're writing off your gas. You're writing off your licensing fees. If you're traveling, you're writing off your car insurance. You're doing all of that. Why? Because you're a business owner. This is not W-2 income. This is 1099. You were asking that earlier. You are not an employee of the firm. You are a 1099 independent contractor. Okay? Pretty cool. That's what I bought into, by the way, guys. Over time, I bought into the idea of what if I had a team? What if I became a broker, which is equivalent to a marketing director, and I had a team of people, and together we were helping families in the community. So I have a humongous team of 5 people, okay? Which is a pretty small team, I'm being sarcastic. And each of my agents helps 10 families in a month, okay? So he helps 10, you help 10, you help 10, you help 10, you help 10, okay? we help 50 families total, right? So you have 5 agents that have clients that are saving $1,200 a month, and if they have 10, that means they're saving $12,000 a month. Okay? Look, I hate the way they do an example, but it makes sense. So 5 agents who have $12,000 a month in premium, the $60,000, I get a bonus. Okay, it's called a spread. It's in every industry that exists. Okay, it's in real estate, it's in mortgages, it's in everything, right? It's in car insurance, it's in health insurance. I get a 25% bonus on this amount. So I would make $15,000 a month, $180,000 per year. Okay, that's what I got him to buy into. Now it's like, okay, now we really own a business and we make 6 figures to replace your income. We don't have to teach, we don't have to do the things we did for money. Okay, so I've been recruited to everything. People are always trying to recruit me when I talk to them, right? There's nothing in this country that pays higher than that unless I'm an athlete or I'm a singer or an actor. Okay, where I can go generate my own income for the highest paid industry in the world. Okay, so I bought into this. Then you have someone who says, Maritza, like my broker, like my CEO, says, Maritza, what if I develop other brokers? When we talked about a leader, you plant him and now he has to develop other leaders. What if I develop 12 leaders across the country? So I'm what they call, this is a title here, I create 12 brokers across the country. 2 here in this state, 3 in Florida, 1 in Texas, 1 in Wyoming, 1 in Washington, it doesn't matter where they're at. And I have 12. And their entire office does $60,000 a month in premium. That means whatever their clients are saving for that month, at the end of the year, it'll be $60,000 total for the year. But they count it by the month. So $60,000 that month. I have 12 people. That's $720,000 per month that they're generating in revenue, and I get a bonus of 27%. It's $195,000. So I've watched 3 people go through this. Actually, we know a 4th now, George. I've watched 4 people go through that. Regular guys that started years ago in the industry, and over time, now 15, 18 years later, this is a career. This isn't going to happen in 5 years. This is career. Now, one of them has been in the industry for 18 years. He makes $1 million a year. That's actually more than $1 million. Okay, so he makes $1 million a year. She's a little less than that. I've watched him go from regular income, number 1, to number 3. So now that's what I've bought into. It took me a while to get there. It took me 10 years of watching people win and be successful to get there. Okay, so this is what me and my husband bought into. I'm going to work for the next 20 years. I might as well take care of my family for the rest of my life. And that's what I bought into. That's the insurance industry. By the way, we're not the only company per se that pays this way. The insurance industry pays this way. So we have a guy on our team that works a golf course. I met him yesterday. He works in a golf course. I said, who's there? He's like, mostly like brokers and I think they do insurance. I think some doctors are always golfing. And I'm like, how old are they? He's like, oh, they're old. I'm like, what's old to you, right? He's 22. I'm like 58, 56, 55, and they're all golfing. Every day I see them almost. We know each other by name now. They own something called a business that pays them whether they're there or not. So my husband and I are building a business that pays us whether we're here or not. Right now, we have to be here. 10 years from now, not so much. That's what we're building. That's what we're working for. A business that pays us residual income. They exist all over the country. How do we get into it? Who connects us? Right? So, 3 options that you have. 1, settle for your current job or another like it. How many people you know that have 2 jobs? Anybody know someone that has 2 jobs? All of us do. We all know somebody, right? Some people in this room may have 2 jobs, right? Right? So, settle for your current job. That's what I was doing. Teaching, things on the side. I was coaching. I was doing a bunch of stuff for extra money. I learned a long time ago that entrepreneurs typically have like 7 businesses. Successful entrepreneurs usually have 7 or 8 businesses. But most of them had one that they were all in for a short period of time. And that one created their wealth, and then they started doing other things. What I find today is I find someone who says, oh, I do this, and I sell jewelry that have this, and I do that, and they do like 8 things, and all of them are bringing them like $40, $50, $100, $200 a month, but collectively it's not enough to quit their job. Okay? If I want to do something, it's like you guys have kids, I wanted to do something that would allow me to just do one thing so I can put my family first. Because I love my family more than I love any industry. I love my family more than being a teacher. I love my family more than being a coach, which is my love and my passion is coaching basketball. I love my children more than anything on this planet. So I was committed to finding what would allow me to be free to be a mommy. And that's kind of how I live my life. I did every field trip. I did every cupcake session where you bring for birthdays. I would ask him in the 10th grade, you want to give some cupcakes? He said, Mom, I'm in the 10th grade, right? But I wanted to because I could, right? He got in trouble. I was there. He got injured. I was there when he was sick in the hospital for a week with asthma, and they just didn't know what was going to happen because it wouldn't correct itself. I slept in that hospital bed every single day right next to him. And when he was asleep during the day, I'd be in the cafeteria running appointments because I could. I didn't have to ask a boss to do that. So I wanted to be free to be a mom. Now it's about having freedom financially. For my grandchildren, I tell them, I'm doing this for you. Your kids will never worry about money. And our grandkids, and generations and generations and generations will never worry about money. So I love my family more than I love any career. And it just happens to be this career that's going to give us what we want for our family, and for our parents, and for the different things that we're going to do. So you can go get another job and stay in the grind for the next 30 years, which I don't knock. It's your decision. You can go back to school. We already talked about school. I was a very, very professional student, or you can become an entrepreneur, specifically in our industry, or become an entrepreneur somewhere that will provide you that lifestyle, okay? Taste of our culture. We do a lot of crazy stuff, I already told you. We actually plaster a tour bus and go across the country to, like this year, I think we had 21 stops in different parts of the country from California all the way to this side, preaching why you should vote 1099 and become an entrepreneur. And then all these guys spoke in different cities. Kind of cool. Nationwide and American General sponsored the bus. They paid for everything. Our CEO would walk into a Starbucks and pay everybody's bill and say it was paid for by an entrepreneur. You should become an entrepreneur, because he wanted to preach entrepreneur. It's kind of cool. Okay, so he really wants to get the word out. Every convention we have, flash mob, every convention we have has a different theme. This year's it's Star Wars, right? So it's kind of crazy. This is the guy you just saw the guys the other day, John Mason. You guys just saw him the other day. You guys, no, you were there, John. That's him hanging from whatever. What are those things called? Zip lines. Yeah. So one of our events. So move forward. We just do a lot of crazy stuff. We travel like crazy. My husband and I are just trying to get a taste of it. We got an all expense trip to Puerto Vallarta. Every quarter we're going somewhere. We just spent a weekend in Big Road Mansion, all expenses paid. This is our broker. I've known him since 2005, 2006. I met him. My kid was really young still. My kid's 18 now. So I met him. We just qualified to go to Spain, a trip that we decided not to go to. In 3 weeks, the company's paying an all expense paid trip to Cancun for our family. We're taking his mom. She raised 4 kids on her own. Deserves a vacation, so all expenses paid. So we got in this industry, guys. Money's awesome. It's what we can do with the money. My mother-in-law deserves a all expenses. She deserves. I hope she meets a very handsome man who falls in love. Sorry, babe, and gets married. And I want to provide, and I just want to give her a life she deserves. I want to give my parents a life they deserve. And so we get to travel everywhere right now. We're on, not hopefully, we're on track to qualify for a Mediterranean cruise at the end of the year to Greece, Santorini, and whatnot. All expenses paid. So you work hard and you get rewarded. Okay. That covers more of the travel. This is the last Costa Rica trip. We weren't brokers yet, so we couldn't qualify, but we didn't miss this one. And then these are all the different things that we do. Those are the brokers in Rancho Cucamonga, where we live, that we were working with directly. And then these are the couple Craig told you about in Houston, Rodolfo and Ceci. These are great friends of ours. I've known them since 2005. He was a principal, and then he was a superintendent over the superintendents. He left that career. He's one of the original co-founders of the company. Left a very promising career. Now he's a $250,000 earner. It's his wife. Co-founded the company. Him and his wife are our brokers, great friends of ours. He's in Dallas, Texas. He's at about $400,000 in income, $500,000. He just crossed over $500,000 in income this year. He's 33, 34 years old. He's a patriarch of his family, taking care of his mom. All his brothers are in business with him. His brother just got married this weekend. First month in Dallas, he made $69,000 his first month in Dallas. Pretty cool. New market for him. So he moved there and started Dallas. And then these are good friends of ours that we're all in business with that have crossed over a certain income levels, an old slide. But these are all good friends of ours, and they're all, you notice they're all what? Different nationalities. We're super diverse as a company. You guys saw up there the pink party. I don't know if you saw ladies in pink. Every year we do a breast cancer awareness for Susan G. Komen, and we raise money across the country. Every single territory is raising money for Susan G. Komen and donating it. In California, we do a catwalk. It's for domestic violence victims and their children, and so we raise money for that. So we really want to be very involved in the community so that they know we're more than just an insurance agency that wants to go out and help the community make money, but we also want to put our money back in the community. And then this is our next event. So our CEO, Wayne Gretzky, is going to be speaking. I know you're super fired up over there,
Yes.
Jeremy. Wayne Gretzky will be speaking. If you guys know who, does anybody follow college basketball? I asked someone today, and they didn't know who the heck he was. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Kentucky Wildcats, right? So he's speaking at our big event that's coming up in August. We have awesome, we have fun. When you go to a convention, it's not like, oh, I gotta go to a stupid convention. You're so pumped up with energy. It's the craziest thing you'll ever experience. I've been to like 50 of them, and it's just crazy. And then every single one of these guys is making over $500,000 a year. Bill collector. He's an insurance agent. She sold striker beds in hospitals.
Jose was on the call last night, wasn't he?
That's where the one says George Palayo got recruited when he was 18. He was a server at Red Lobster. It's kind of cool. He just crossed over $500,000 income too. So mom and dad are retired. All his siblings are taken care of. His brother was in business with him. He's 30 years old and who cares about money because he stuck it out. He built a business. Okay, these are good friends of ours. So it's like it's awesome to be able to see their success and just keep pushing, right? So that's our next big event. Our last one, he spoke at our last big event. I was like a little kid. I grew up on Magic, Lakers, Showtime. So he spoke at our last event. My husband got to take a picture with him. My husband's a pretty big dude. You guys would agree? Yeah, right? It was like this. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen, right? 6'5", 6'9" is actually a difference. I didn't realize how much of a difference. Magic's a really cool dude. Probably one of the most sweet, polite men I've ever met. Just very kind. So what are your options? Honey, what are their options? Cards. Dave.
Oh.
You said you're going to do cards, right? So what are your options? And then we can pass these out too. You guys can take this with you. When people come see us, they say, Maritza, I have some questions. You might say, Maritza, he doesn't even know anything else already. I want to know more. So on the top, you'll see your name. You can only fill out one if you guys are a couple. You don't have to do one each. Usually couples make decisions together, so you don't have to fill out both if you don't want to. Just your name, phone number, and email. Really, which you probably have that because whoever invited you knows you personally. Kathy, I think I just like yourself, right? Put who invited you just so we don't lose track. And then towards the middle bottom, if you'll see, I'm skipping down fast because you guys can fill out your personal information in a sec. It says, box number 1, I want to get started. Box number 2 says, I have some questions. And box number 3 says, I'm interested in a no obligation review of my current financial situation. So option number 1 is, I know I want to get started. I don't know a lot about how to do it, but I assume you're going to guide me through. And I need to do it part-time because I got to keep my day job. That's how I got started. Okay? Box number 2 again is, you know what? I have some questions that are still a little bit unclear for me. And then the last one says, Maritza, let's sit down and do a financial plan together. Show me what you got. Show me what you're working with. And then if you have any, at the bottom, if you do want to meet, and tonight's not convenient for you because you got to go or you have other things you got to do, we got to be out of here in about 15 minutes. Then schedule a day, typically within the next 24 to 48 hours, between the times of 9 to 6. And some people might say, hey, 9 to 6, I work between those hours. Maybe you can go in a little bit later, get off a little earlier. Or possibly take a look at, when you get a toothache, you would agree, you would call in and say, hey, I got to go to the dentist, I'll be in a couple hours late. Okay, so you may not have a toothache, but come in a couple hours late. Between 9 and 6, because typically in the evenings we're meeting with our clients because they're off of work and that's the time they can meet. My husband's down here a few days a week, actually Monday through Friday. There's times I come with him, and then there's times I'm with Nick Charles in case I'm building that territory. But ideally, the next 24 to 48 hours, if you want to meet today, you can definitely put, today's good. Over the next, it's a 10-minute question and answer period. Or if you decide you want to look more at the client services and put what day and time would work for you, and then we'll try to accommodate that between the 4 of us. On the back, if you speak any other languages, that would be freaking awesome. You put it on the back and put you speak other languages and what they are. Or maybe you have any talents, gifts, things that would be helpful, especially when working with people, put that on there. Like I know you do credit, right? Very important you do taxes, put that on there. And then if you guys know 3 people that need a second income or that are looking for an opportunity, write their first name down. You don't write their phone number, I don't need their social security number, just their first name. 3 people that are looking for an opportunity, and maybe 3 people that you know really need what we do in any capacity I talked about that we should go see. And again, just their first name. You don't need to write their phone number, their email, none of that stuff. It's fresh in your mind right now. Each and every one of you has someone you thought of when I was talking about this. Or the most charismatic person in your life, and they're not fulfilling their purpose where they're at their job. So each of you knows people like that. Those are great referrals to whoever invited you. And that's it. Do any of you have any questions? Anything you want to ask? You guys were very non-questiony, which is rare, but awesome. I'll take it. Maybe you guys are playing just because we got to move it. Please. You got that? Good. Let's see. I already have your number. Awesome. Kathy Brown. Just have an email. Do you have a time concern if you want to sit down and do that? You can do it right now. What's your schedule time? Do you have any ideas of how you want to work it? Or are you looking at